Why you should try to talk less about the things you are currently doing. So there are many things involved, and the one major thing is a psychological effect. And the psychological effect is the following. If you say things, if you explain things you are currently doing to others, or it could also be things you are planning to do, then what you're essentially doing is the other person won't be like, yeah, that's the worst shit I ever heard. But most of the time, since you probably aren't really speaking to the ones that would oppose you, but probably more to the ones that are already your friends or your family or someone that just wants to be nice to you, since not everybody wants to destroy your life, I guess. And therefore, people just try to be nice, I think. Another thing is, if you say something to another person, if you tell them what you are doing, most likely they will get you positive, they will give you positive confirmation back. This could be like, yeah, that's cool, or yeah, that sounds nice, or yeah, my uncle also did this, or yeah, but I want to talk about me right now. So these are the options you most of the time get. And now the thing is, what you essentially are doing is, if you are doing something and you haven't done it until it's finished, but you are in the process of doing it, and you tell it to someone, you are getting the confirmation, you're getting the gratification you would get at the end of doing something, but instead of at the end, you are already getting it. Therefore, it's basically grabbing the reward you would get when finishing the activity, but actually bringing it into the present, which in return makes you less likely to now do the thing from now on, because you already got everything, all the social confirmation you could potentially get. Why is social confirmation so huge? Basically, everybody is longing, or everybody has the longing need, the need in us, or there's the longing need in us to feel confirmed by the things we do by others. We rely on others saying that the things we do are good, because we are uncertain, because there are uncertain things that happen again and again, and the more social proof we can get for the things we do, the better we feel. That's just how we are wired. I mean, I don't want to get into evolution, and I also don't want to overcomplicate this, but it's just very simplified, of course. I mean, it's just a random statement I just came up with. So now, what you instead want to try to do is to just try to talk less about the things you are actually doing, because basically this means you are less likely to do the thing. And since you are doing the thing, it's probably something you want to do. I mean, if it's something you not want to do, then that's another discussion. Then let's maybe try to take a look at the things you are doing and just leave out the ones you don't want to do. Only to a certain extent, of course, because there's this other effect that if you don't do the hard things in your life anymore, that everything else just gets harder, because it's just a psychological trick our brain kind of plays on us. But that's just another thing entirely. But something else is also true, and this is something I experienced again and again and again, and it just kind of breaks you on a small scale, and it's this. Whenever you talk to someone else about an idea you have, whenever you explain something to someone else, you realized, for example, or you read this book and now you realize this. For one, of course, it's very selfish, because the only thing you are doing is using the other person basically as a talking wall. I mean, it's not that like you are giving, of course, you could potentially give the other person a benefit, but the other person also could just read the book themselves if they were interested interested in the book as much as you were. Then it was like, then if the other person really relied on your advice that much, then the only thing you had to do, or the other person had to do, is just ask you. It's just like, there's this communication way where we actually can ask people, for example, what they think about this topic. But many times we find ourselves, and I too find myself in just giving other people or telling other people things they didn't even ask for. Essentially, what I kind of realized, and I think this is true to a huge extent, is this. There are two things that are connected to the human communication or to the social experience, so to speak, as a general broader term for everything social we do when it comes to interacting with other people. And the first one is getting self-confirmation, as we already explored. And the second one is giving confirmation to others, because others are also searching for this confirmation. So essentially, it's the same thing, but from the other side. So now, your job, basically, for all of your friends and all of your family is just to be there, to actually be the talking wall. As sad as it sounds, that's the only thing the others really need from us. Of course, there's also, we are also reliant on many other ways, and also when it comes to work, this is different. I'm only talking about like the social experience as like between friends and between family, and as a social interaction, the social need that fulfills the social need, not the need for actually exchanging just information itself. Of course, the social experience is also just an information change, but I'm talking, of course, about the information change that happens because we have this need for social proof. Now, when it comes to other people, there are now two things you can do. First of all, you can just shut up and not talk about yourself, because it essentially improves not only your experience of life, because you then are actually more likely to do the things you want to do, and therefore you will be more satisfied with your life, I guess, in the long term. But the other thing is this, that you would drastically improve your relations. And this is something I just tried again and again and again, instead of just talking. Of course, people are asking you questions, but often people are only asking questions to then talk about themselves. Of course, this depends on the people. But I'm trying to generalize, of course. The thing I want to state, or I want to conclude, kind of, this is not the final conclusion, but right now, is that what you are offering for somebody else, for a friend, is basically to be there, to listen, actually. And just the act of listening, just the act of being there for the other person and listening, is something that now not only helps you, because then you don't talk about yourself all the time, but this just also helps the other person, because the other person just needs a wall to reflect on, maybe, because the other person just needs someone to talk to. And I think this is the final conclusion of this video.